now, South Carolina has more than 30 inmates on death row and no way to legally carry out their executions. But there's a bill that could restart lethal injections in the state is now awaiting a debate in the state Senate. State House reporter Mary Green explains.
A Senate committee advanced the SHIELD law bill, which would protect the identities of drug manufacturers and compounding pharmacies from being publicly disclosed if they sell South Carolina lethal injection drugs. The Department of Corrections says it hasn't been able to obtain these drugs since its supply expired a decade ago.
Now what we're trying to do is make sure we have all the tools that we can to carry out the laws in the state of South Carolina.
The vote to advance the bill today to the Senate floor comes a week after the state Supreme Court says it would be delaying a ruling on the legality of the electric chair and firing squad. That's to give another judge time to determine if South Carolina did enough to try to obtain more lethal injection drugs. For now, South Carolina can't carry out any of these methods of execution, and it hasn't put anyone to death since 2011.
To not be able to carry out that law really, in my view, does a disservice to the judicial system. It does a disservice to our citizens, and it does a disservice to the victims of families or families of victims.
If drug makers or compounding pharmacies sell South Carolina lethal injection drugs, this bill would shield their identities from public disclosure. On Thursday, the committee approved language designed to tighten that shield up even more. Opponents argue the legislation would cloud government transparency, even keeping lawmakers themselves from knowing who the state is working with and how much money is going toward it. One senator says he's worried the shield designed to protect drug suppliers could also prevent the state from adequately defending itself in lawsuits that could follow botched executions.
It's kind of like putting us in a football game. Everybody else got on pads and helmets, and we can't even get a helmet. We can't even get shoulder pads because this amendment will not allow us to compel disclosure or discovery.
Even with this language, I think that under the right circumstances, a court is going to could pierce that shield.
Governor Henry McMaster also called on the legislature to pass this SHIELD law bill in his State of the State address last week. Reporting from the State House, I'm Mary Green.
And the director of the state's prison system has said this bill would not guarantee that South Carolina could be able to obtain the drugs, but without it, discussions are impossible.